Welcome to the Greatness Engineering Show. It is always a pleasure to come to your house or wherever you are and to bring you, amazing leaders and greatness engineers, like I call them. Today, we're going to explore how discipline, purpose, and consistency can engineer, into lasting success as usual, as we do all the time. And I'm actually honored to have Valerie Ross. That's my guest today. We will talk about entrepreneurship, discipline, consistency, leadership, and faith as well. And we will explore her journey, how she went from really, humble beginning to where she is right now. She is an Indianapolis entrepreneurial trailblazer. She's a respected business leader, and she also a mentor. She's mentored the next generation of leaders and entrepreneurs. So she will tell us all about it. And so let us know where you're watching from. So today, my guest is based in the US, and you know that I'm based in Perth in Western Australia. It is a bit late here, but I'm still very well awake because I'm really anticipating, the conversation with Valerie today. So, as usual, have your pen and paper ready because we're going to learn a lot today. And don't hesitate if you're watching live, don't hesitate to participate. And, if you have any question or if you just want to give an insight on the conversation itself. So we will welcome Valerie now, and sit tight, and like I said, get ready to learn, get ready to get tips and strategies to go to the next level of your greatness. To another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show, the show that is brought to you by the Viratilekima Global Leadership Organization.
Feel is important is if you just look at the word compassion, when it's behavior, it's something that can be learned, and it is something that we can embody through habits and through our daily action.
To get this idea that if we interject this wisdom intentionally, I call them needle movers. It's the needle mover that's missing.
Don't deprive the world of your greatness. Please. Don't do that anymore. Dare to excel, dare to be sexy, dare to be you, dare to be the best version of yourself. Impact yourself positively, and from there impact others, and you are not alone.
So welcome, Valerie, to the Greatness Engineering Show. It is a pleasure to have you with us, and I'm very much anticipating the conversation we're gonna have today. I'm very excited. But before we get to the full excitement, just wanted to ask you if you could add to the short introduction that I've just made about you. I know there's much more, so if you can let us know what we need to know about you.
Of course. My name is Valerie Ross, and I reside here in Indianapolis, Indiana. I am a mother of four. I also I have two stepsons. I mean, love them dearly. I own a janitorial company. I started it 34 years ago, and I am so proud of it because I was able to be consistent with it for many, many years. And during that time of owning that janitorial company, I was able to open up a boutique. I opened up a barbershop. And at the time in '08, like when the market crashed, I was able to buy properties. So I'm a real estate investor also. I have a wonderful husband and a just so nice. He and I met when we were in high school. We went to high school together, and later on in life, we wind up getting married, and we have a beautiful marriage, and I'm really happy about that. And right now, I mean, I'm so excited about my life and this next generation because throughout the years, I've helped so many people get to the next level and become entrepreneurs. And I told myself, I said, I want to, do it on a larger scale, just help people become entrepreneurs. And I have a great team of people, I'm very grateful for that. Tammy Wilkins, she works with me and behind me and everything that I do. So I'm so happy to have her as this partner behind me. And I'm just so grateful to be here on the show, The Greatest Engineering. I'm happy. Thank you so much for having me.
You are most welcome and excited on my side here as well. And, when I hear all those stories, I'm always, curious about the early beginning. So I just want to know, what really first sparked your entrepreneurial journey, and what did you learn? What did those early years teach you that you actually, remember, and also, that help you to get to the level that you have right now?
Okay, so I have a story for you. So I am originally from Charleston, South Carolina. So way back when, a long, long time ago, that means I probably was like 10 years old. My brother and I, 10 years old, my brother and I, we would wake up in the morning, and the first thing I would tell him, I said, let's go and let's rake some yards. So we would grab a rake, and if it was fall time, we would knock on people's doors and ask them if they wanted their yards raked, and we'd rake their yards. They'll give us $5. Or it was times when he'd be pushing a lawnmower, I'd be carrying the rake down the street, and we'd knock on people's doors, ask them if they wanted their grass cut, and that was at a very, very early age. Also, a long time ago, they used to have these Coke bottles that you can save and that you can cash them in for money if you find any. So in the morning times, he and I, we would get up, and I said, come on, let's go look for Coke bottles today, So we'll get our little wagon or whatever we had, our buggy, and we'll go down the street. And every time we seen a Coke bottle, we'll see it in the ditch, or we'll see it in somebody's yard. We'll stick it in our buggy, and we'll go to the grocery store and we'll cash them all in that day. And the guy at the grocery store be like, oh, wow, here they come with these dirty bottles, with these bottles. And we did a lot. We'd always get things out of our house, always thought about getting stuff out of our house, and we'll get a little table and put it outside by the street, and we'll have a little yard sale. And during that time, I babysit, I said everybody's kids. Anybody can drop their kids off over to the house at night, and I had everybody's kids while they went out, and I babysat. So at a very early age, I made a lot of money. So one day when I was a senior in high school, there was a a girl that asked me if I can go to a dance. So I was like, well, I need to ask my mom. So I asked her if I can go to a dance. She said, yeah, you can go, but you have to be home at a certain time. I went to the dance, and there was the spectacular 3D disco. They were from Burke High School back in Charleston, South Carolina. And they played so well. I went home, I fell asleep, and I told myself, I said, I have got to do something with them. It seems like when I was a very young age, I was always trying to just think of things to do just to make money. I told myself, I was like, I got to do something with them. I went to my uncle and I thought about it. I went to my uncle and I said, is there any way you can rent out that armory for me? Because, you know, he was in the Navy, and he's like, yeah, I can rent out the armory for you. So I went to my uncle and he rented out the armory for me. I drove to the radio station, you know, because at the time I was driving when I was a teenager. And then they said, can I speak to Clarence, please? Because the DJ name was Clarence DeVoe Pips. And yeah, I know Clarence DeVoe Pips, right? So I walk in there and I say, hi, Clarence. He goes, oh, this is Thelma's child. What do you want me? I said, well, you know, I want to throw a dance, and I want to throw it at the armory. And I just want to know if you can put me on the radio. Yeah, don't worry about it. You just give me the time and the place and all that kind of good stuff. So I got them set. Then I set up a interview with the 3D disco. Levanza Breland was his name. He met at my house, at my aunt's house. We all was sitting there. I can remember Levanza was Mark. We all was sitting there, and I said, hey, you know what? We need to bring the DJ on my side of town, because, you know, when you live in a city, you know, they got the east side, the west side, you know, the north side. So, Levanza them was downtown. We were on the north side. So he said, yeah, we'd be more than happy to do it. I said, well, how much would I have to pay you guys to do this thing? And then he gave me a price, and I said, okay, I'll pay. And we got the armory. And then one day I was driving on the street, and I heard tonight, you know, the DJ started playing. Yeah, Valerie Lassere is going to throw a dance at the armory that's located at 123 Main Street. And, you know, had the music in the background. I was like, oh my God, that's me. That's me. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Yeah. So we got that date. When I got there, my dad was a security guard. My uncle was security guard too. They was at the door. And then when I pulled up, I had this line down the street, around the corner. Everybody paid $2 to get in, $3 at the door. And I was just my aunt, she went to the store. She had a little concession stand. She got some hot dogs and some chips and some drinks. And my aunt stood over there in the concession stand. And I tell you what, the party was sold out. And I was at that door with my money. I was so happy. At the particular time, the guy told us, he said, okay, we're at the capacity. And I told the people at the door, I said, well, you have to wait. When someone leaves it, I'll let you in. And at that particular time, I was a senior in high school. I was a senior in high school.
Wow.
Yeah, I was a senior in high school. So at the end, we collected so much money off this dance. I never had that much money before. I was like, oh my God, oh my God. I was so happy. Never had that much money. So my aunt said, oh, you're going to have to put some of that money back. And then it kind of clicked to me right then and there. I'm like, is this what I need to do or I want to do? I mean, wow, I said, this is a great thing to do. So at a very early age, I already started making my money. I already started making my money at a very early age. I had it in me to get up early every morning to just figure out what job I was going to do, because I had many of them. You know, I can cut grass, I can rake yards, I can do bottles, I can babysit. There was just so much stuff that I could do to make money. And at a very early age, I made sure that every morning I wake up and I made my money. And I am
Mm-hmm.
still like that today. I wake up in the morning and I'm still running businesses and trying to figure out what I'm going to do today to make money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I always say being consistent, prayer, helping people, not being lazy. You got to wake up in the morning. I feel that making money and having money is just a blessing. You do that. But throughout my journey, I've done different things now. I've done different things. You know, I started the janitorial business. I've worked for restaurants. You know, we moved to Indianapolis when after high school. My mom moved here to Indianapolis, and I started working at a restaurant. And I was going to school too. But I know one thing, it woke me up because working at that restaurant, when they gave me that first check, I worked all those many hours. And when that check was like a little couple of dollars, right then and there, I knew that I wanted to work for myself. Because when you work for yourself, you work all day, you got all your money, you can keep all your money. And it wasn't an hourly rate, it was what you charged the particular person. And so right then and there, I knew when I started working for restaurant work, I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur and start my own business. And I started my own janitorial business, and I've worked it up. And there's a lot that I've been through, I must say, but I hung in there and I did it.
Wow. And how do you juggle between, you know, because those are like different businesses that you're managing. So how do you, you know, juggle all of this and also stay consistent in all of them? Because, you know, that must be, you know, quite a process. Or I don't know if you have a process or a system or anything that, you know, you use to be able to stay focused on all areas that you are involved in. Or so how do you do it?
Okay. So a while ago, when you first start a business, you have to grow. You have to grow. You have to, there's certain seasons of your business. If you stick with it, you will definitely grow. And you'll see where you need to put this and you need to do that just to make changes. And if you believe in God, he definitely will step his foot in there and will give you, he don't give you no more than what you can bear. And that is very true about that. All right. So what I did is that I remember starting my janitorial business. It was so busy. Everywhere I went, I carried this book around because I'm more of a book person. I like writing stuff down, and, you know, I operate better if I write it down, I can see it. You know, some people like computers, but for me, I loved carrying my book and I can visualize it, see it. I wrote things down. You know, we were cleaning apartments, and I told myself, I said, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this, because my books every single day I was booked from the top to the bottom. We were the best. We still are the best out there in the field. All right. When I do something, I do it. I put my all into it. I train my people. All of my people are trained. I train my people, and my people work exactly like me. And that's how I felt. Okay. So at that time, I didn't grow. I mean, I was growing, but I didn't have multiple businesses. So I started off with just my janitorial business. Then 2008 came, 2008 came, and the market crashed. So when the market crashed, we were cleaning apartment complexes. And that at that particular time, instead of an apartment complex saying, "Oh, Valerie, we have 3 units for you." Now a lot of people were losing their houses, and now they say, "Oh, we got 10 and 15 units for you." So I worked from in the morning all the way till at night, because I didn't fall asleep unless all my work was done. There was days that I only slept like 3 or 4 hours, and I had to get back up and I had to go out there and I had to clean. But I did it with my team. I did it with a team of people, not by myself. Thank you, Lord, for supplying me with good people that knew what they were doing and that I've trained to do. So we were swamp busy in 2008.
Hmm.
So I drove up to my office one day and I seen a guy sitting on the stairs. And I said, I'm here real early. Why are you sitting on my stairs? And he goes, well, me and my girlfriend got into it last night. And, I was going to go over to my mom's house, but my mom told me that she didn't want me coming in there any kind of time. I was like, well, why you choose my office to come to? You go, I felt safe, just coming over here because I know you was going to come in early. So I felt safe. So I said, okay. So I got that story that day. So the very next day I woke up, I went into the office. He was on my stairs again at the office. I said, why are you sitting on my stairs? He said, oh, because me and my girlfriend, we got into it again. And, it was late. She always wait till at the end of the day to be, picking at me. So, I just decided I just going to come over here and sleep on the stairs. So when it got to happen a little bit too often, I realized that this man don't have a home to go to.
Mm-hmm.
So I saved up all of my money back in 2008. I saved up all my money. We were cleaning apartments and, my company, we grew really big and we were just working really hard. And that extra money and the real estate was very, very extremely cheap that year.
Mm-hmm.
So I told myself I bought my first house. I bought my first house and I put my first team member in that house.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me, he says, thank you, Valerie. Thank you for buying me a house. He goes, now I don't even have to worry about getting put out again. I wish she can't come over here. And it made me feel good that I was able to buy somebody a house. He was consistently working and he can pay, they paid me rent. I took my rent off the top, and he didn't have to worry about getting kicked out of his house. He showed up for work every single day.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, wow, okay, this is working out. I feel real good about it. So I went ahead and bought a second house. And I put one of my team members in that house. That was 2008. They still in there today, just to let you know.
Oh.
Yeah. And they still working for me good today too,
Mm-hmm.
So it made me feel good that I was buying homes and we were working really hard. The homes was real cheap. They were like $10,000, $12,000. You can buy a really nice home back in the day, back in 2008 for like $8,000. So it made me feel real good. I was planting that money right back into the field and putting my team members, I was making them consistent, steady. I was, I said, well, it doesn't make me feel good. I can go over to my little nice house and sleep in my bed, and my team members are sleeping on my porch. And on, they're sitting around here trying to figure out a place to go. So it did make me feel really good that was happening. So I found a solution to solve the problem. It made me feel real good. And today, guess what? I feel real good. So that's how I feel real good, because all of the stuff that we're going through, at least I know that my team is together.
It's all good.
We have a place to sleep, right?
Okay.
So they're still in those houses, and I was buying one house after another, and that's how I became a landlord. Own property. And I love them because, when something goes wrong with the property, they're real patient about, I go out there and I fix it, or either they'll come to me and they say, Valerie, I just want you to know that, my faucet was leaking and I fixed it. They work for me, of course, So it makes it easy to be a landlord. But I always make sure that when I move somebody into a property that is A1 and it looks really, really good, and they have everything that they need. So that's how I became the landlord. All right. So now I got a janitorial business. And now in 2008, the market is crashing. Now we are owning houses. All right. One day I was driving down the street. I told myself I was running my business out of my van. I was running it out of a van. My van was my office. My van was my office. I'm going down the street and I'm like, I just, I was saving this money because we were working really hard. I said, I got to get me an office. all of these buildings, they were being cheap. And I said, I need to get an office. So thank God I was able to get a really nice building, a really cheap building, and I made it my office. So
Wow.
I was happy for that too. I did a lot of things back when the market crashed in 08 or whatever the case may be. So it was really nice. You know, I did a lot. I think I got my office first. The office was the first thing I got. Then that's when I started buying the houses second. So let me correct that. The office I bought first, then I started buying houses. So that's when I started becoming a landlord after I bought my office. And then one day me and some girls went on a vacation. We went to a place where there was a boutique. We went inside the boutique and I started looking around and I was like, wow, this is a nice boutique. It was real small. It didn't have a lot of stuff in it. And I thought to myself, I can make my office a part of a boutique. So I went back. I had a contractor go in there and I started changing some things around. I put my office in the back room and the front part of the building that was on the busy street. I said,
this is my boutique.
Yeah, this is my boutique. They was trying to revitalize that street anyway, you know? So I got a contractor in there to screw some things on the wall, and I went to a clothing show and I bought some clothes and I stuck in there with some jewelry, opened up another business, and 46th Street Boutique was alive and well and running. And it's still there. And it's still there. And it's still there. Being consistent is all this is about. Okay. So now I clean. You know, I have a boutique, and now I have a barbershop. How did that happen? I know. I'm always thinking of something. My brain is always
exactly
all the time.
That's what I was going to say. It's like this brain never stops.
Exactly. So my grandson gets his hair cut by this amazing barber. His name is Kenneth Jones here in Indianapolis, Indiana, everybody, if you want to know. And Kenneth told me one day my grandson went and sat in his chair and he was getting his hair cut. And Kenneth said, I really want to move out of where I'm at right now. And I said, oh, really? He says, yeah. He says, do you know of any places? So I hooked him up with somebody. And I asked him, I went back again. I asked him, I said, did you hook up with this guy? He says, yeah, I did hook up with him. He said, but my clients, you know, they're handicapped and they need to like a ramp or something that they can roll up on, you know, and they can get in there real easy. And I thought, oh, okay. So I went back and at the boutique again. I walked in the back door and I started looking around. And I said, you know what? I think I can make this a barbershop. So I went back to him. I said, Kenneth, I said, you really need to come to my place. I said, because I really think that we can transform the back of that building into a barbershop. So he didn't come at first. So I went back again to him. I said, Kenneth, I said, I really think that we can transform the back of the building into the barbershop. So I said, I want you to meet me at my building. He goes, okay, this time I'm going to meet you at the building. I said, all right, make sure you meet me there. He met me there. When he got on the parking lot, he looked in the back. The first thing he said is, this is it. He don't know. He didn't know I already had the vision, whether he was going to take it or not, because I already got in contact with the contractor and told the contractor, we need to do this, 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 and this to make this a barbershop. So guess what? Somebody's still sitting in that chair right now while we're speaking, and we have a barbershop and they're getting their hair cut. So
wow.
Yeah. So this is what I say. This is what I say.
So
go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say, I mean, you have to constantly, look at the situation and say, where is the opportunity here? Even if it's, I'm thinking about you starting, becoming a landlord when the market crash. Normally people will like say, oh, okay, the market doesn't work and blah, 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 and just, be miserable. But you're like, no, there is an opportunity here. Where is I'm going to find the opportunity to capitalize on this crisis. And, that's a big lesson.
That is a big lesson. I always say, if you have a business, always look. You just don't have to have just that business. Always look for the opportunity or the break that you would get to start something else and to do, and to be better at what you do. Because I always say MSI, multiple streams of income, is always better than just one income. Having something multiple coming to you and you got it coming from all different kind of ways, it works out so much better, and I get some entrepreneurs, some people, they want to be entrepreneurs, but in some cases they don't want to work. I'm tell you something, you have to work. When I first started my business, it was just me by myself. I went into a building all by myself when I first started. And I was cleaning that whole building by myself. I didn't have any help. All I did is had an organization skill up in my head. And when I organized it and I went in and I attacked the problem, I didn't complain about it. I didn't complain about that. I ain't even had no money to even pay nobody for help. So it had to happen. I had to do it on my own. But as I grew, I got my first employee. I got my second employee. I got my third, let's say, team member. And then I just kept on moving. But I always, at a very early age, realized that I started as an entrepreneur when I was 10 years old. I never knew what it was. I never knew what it was. I never knew anything of that sort. But now that I'm an adult, I'm older and I've been running my business, I can look back on those days and I can say, hey, I was an entrepreneur at a very early age. Now, let me tell you something about the janitorials. Let me tell you a little story about this janitorial company. I was working for a lady and I was a salesperson. She had a small company. It was only 5 employees. And she said, I went to a university and I was working on that account every single day. I was selling toilet paper, paper towels. I was selling products, cleaning products. Thank God they put me through school to teach me the difference about the cleaning products and what I need to do. Thank you, Jesus. I'm happy for that. That's how I know how to use the products to have my own cleaning company, because I used to sell them. So one day, it took me 2 years. Everybody knows that when you go to a huge company, it was a college, you go to a huge company, that when you're a salesperson, you have to go out to lunch. You have to keep calling them, make calls all the time. They have to like you in order to buy from you. And it took 2 years for them to say, Valerie, we're going to buy your products. We're going to place an order with your company, with the company you work for next year. I was so happy because I worked 2 years on that contract. So I went back to her. I was so happy to give her the good news. Hey, the college said they're going to put a big order in. And when they put a big order in, this was a big college. This was not a small college. They put a big order in, a huge order. So mind you now, I was only making $10 an hour and a commission. My commission was everything that I sold. That's all the money I was making. She went, took the money, bought a big pool, put a big pool in her backyard, And she told me, I am only going to give you $500.
Mm-hmm.
$500? What? I worked 2 years on that account. That is not going to happen. I worked 2 years on that account. And she says, I'm so sorry, but we had to cut a lot of prices out and we had to cut them very low. They order close to like $400,000 worth of product because they ordered all their product for the whole year. And I'm supposed to get 10% of what I sold. And all I get is $500. So I was very, very extremely upset. I was mad. So I went to my first account and I drove over there and I looked in there and I said, hey, you guys, I said, it looks like y'all don't have anybody cleaning your bathroom and break room. He goes, oh, Valerie, I know, no, we don't have anybody clean the bathroom and break room because we can't keep an employees back here because, and plus the insurance is so high. I said, hey, I'll clean that bathroom and break room. He says, really? I said, yeah. He says, you can clean this? I said, yeah, I got a company. I said, I'll go ahead and I clean it. Didn't know, ain't had no company. You know, I mean, at that time I was working for, the people. And he said, yeah, doing cleaning on the side. And he goes, I said, yeah. And he said, I said, I can clean it. And he goes, well, how much do you think you'll charge to clean this bathroom and break room? I looked around and I looked at him. I said, probably about $40. He goes, $40? Is that all you're going to charge us to clean this bathroom and break room? And I said, yeah, $40 will be fine. So he shot up and he went into the office. I don't know. And he's like, and then you have to put these eye protectors on because it was they do what are those RVs? RVs. And they had the break room in the back of the building. They had the RV where they make them in the middle of the building, and they had the office all the way up front. So he said, guess what, Carl? Valerie said she'll clean our bathroom and break room area for only $40. Remember, I put my eye protectors on and I'm running right behind him because I want to see what's going on. Carl said, make sure she brings her in. He says, only $40? That's what Carl said. And I got to thinking to myself when I was standing there listening to him, I'm like, did I bid too cheap on that?
Exactly.
Yeah. So he says, tell her to bring her a W-9 and insurance. And I'm thinking like, what's a W-9 and what's the insurance? And then he said, so I got away from the door and I started going back across the warehouse. And he goes, hey, Valerie, your company's hired. When can you start? Carl said, bring your W-9 and your insurance in tomorrow. I said, oh, no problem. I got home. I was like, dang, what is it?
Trying to find out.
I called my dad on the phone. I asked him, I said, Dad, W-9. He goes, oh, I said, and they told me I need to have some insurance. So he said, well, you first gotta. So my dad kind of lead me. I had to go get a name and I had to do this, do that. And he says, go to the library and get you a W-9 form. And he says, and call the people who do your car insurance. He says, call them and you'll get some insurance. So I did all that in that one day. The very next day, I couldn't wait because he and I agreed that I was going to come in there the very next day and just start around 3 o'clock. I think around 3 o'clock or something of that. So we was going to start the next day. So I go and into work and I was all happy. And she was looking at me. She was like, dang, she ain't mad because I just gave her $500 because I had already had it in my head that you just paid me this little bit of money for an account I worked for 2 years and I am getting ready to do me now, right? Because sometimes when people don't do you right, God gives you I'm like, I'm getting ready to work on me. It's time for me to work on me. You got a nice pool in your backyard. Y'all can go swimming. And this girl is getting ready to do her. So I went, lunchtime came. I threw my suit off, my sales suit, and I was in my car driving down the street. I was putting on the pants. This man drove next to me. This truck driver drove next to me. I was at a light and he kept steering inside of my car like, what is she doing? Like, what's going on? I was like, don't worry about it. I put my t-shirt on. I go inside that building and I had when I woke up that morning, I had my little buckets. I went in my garage, put a little glass cleaner in there and whatever, because I know they had some products because I was their salesperson. They had some products. I walk in there and he said, Valerie, I thought you was going to send somebody to clean it. And I looked at him. I said, I love you guys. I clean it myself. And he goes, we love you too, Valerie. I went in there. I cleaned that little bathroom break room up area, made my little $40. And I grew that business to be one of the largest janitorial apartment complexes in my region as of today. Guess what? That was years ago that happened. And we're still operating. Thank you, ma'am.
Wow, that's amazing. And you need you need a lot of patience. And I actually wanted to ask you, what is the part of motivation in all of this? Because I mean, I can imagine starting yourself first and then having to do everything. There are days when you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to go, and you're tired and things like that. So I know you talk a lot about discipline, but do you believe discipline is more important than the motivation? Given your experience.
I truly think discipline is something that a person is born to be. I mean, I believe that you're born like it's in your DNA. If you're a disciplined person, you are going to be, no matter what you do, no matter where you're at, you're going to be disciplined. The part that motivated me about janitorial is that the kind of money that I can make. I've made $3.35 an hour. I've made $10 an hour. When you make $10 an hour and then you don't work, that day you made $80, right? When you walk into a building and you can clean that building within an hour and make $300 to $400, that motivated me real quick. It didn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that janitorial was my thing to do. Now, put it this way. Back in the day, janitorial was a job as to where a lot of people didn't want nobody to know that they worked it. Because, I was
still today.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are like, I don't want nobody to know that I do janitorial and I clean. Guess what I do? I clean. And I'm proud to say it. And I'm good at it. And I make a lot of money doing it. I love what I do. I love what I do. A lot of people back in the day, it was like, oh, you want to be a doctor? You want to be a lawyer? No, I don't want to be a doctor. I don't like blood. No, I don't want to be a lawyer because I don't want to solve people's problems like that. I want to do something that I like being free. I love cleaning. On Saturday mornings, my mom used to turn on the music. And when you hear that Marvin Gaye sound and smell that pine sol, guess what? It's time to get up out your bed and start cleaning because you're not going anywhere and you cannot play outside until your room is clean, the kitchen was clean, and those bathrooms had to be clean. So I came from a house that my mom made us clean. My mom basically was a good cleaner. And she taught us to wipe all down around the toilet and everything. And I'm just so happy. And I'm so blessed that I know how to clean and I can do it. And I'm very good at doing it. And I don't think that if I was working for somebody making an hourly rate, that I would live the life that I'm living today. You get me? So guess what? Yeah. I'll clean.
Yes, she cleans.
I'm proud to say that I clean. I clean.
And I think you are also inspiring people because I see here Fiona. Wow, Valerie, your story is very inspirational. So yes, she cleans and she's been cleaning for a long time.
For a long time.
So that we also have Karen saying, love the entrepreneurial mindset from, the young age. and great, great party stories. So it started with the party, and so we're gonna have a break, and then we will come back and continue the excitement. I'm so excited by this conversation, and really, the energy that you bringing to this platform is just amazing. So we will have a break, and we will be back with Valerie after this short break. Don't go anywhere. We should be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere, please.
Kasia Trepanier. I'm from Hammond, Louisiana, which is about 30 minutes outside of New Orleans.
Our end thing is love, community, and never forget about the people that paved the way.
Art is the only medium to help us understand that there is a lot more to life than fight.
Whatever you do in your personal life trickles into your business life. And a lot of times people fail in business because they have not succeeded in life.
I want to be able to be contributing, one of those guys that really are doing significant work to better the lives of people.
Every change is linked to a consciousness raising, and change is conscious. And if you want to change something in your life, start with your breathing. Start to work on your breathing.
Leave something for people to learn from. Make a video, write a book, teach, go around, teach the younger generation or the next generation to help them become or follow the path that you've been.
In today's global energy landscape, local content isn't just a policy, it's a strategic imperative. Local content, key enabler for energy projects in emerging markets, by engineer Dr. Mireille Tulakima, offers groundbreaking insights into how local participation can transform energy development. Discover how strategic local content approaches can. Number 1 is driving the economic growth. Number 2 is building a sustainable local capabilities. Then another one is creating a meaningful employment opportunities. And the last one is enhancing the project success and community engagement. Written by an internationally recognized energy expert, this book provides practical strategies for governments, investors, and energy professionals. Whether you're in energy policy, project management, or economic development, this book is your roadmap to understanding local content's critical role.
So we are back. We are back with Valerie, and very inspiring conversation today. And the journey is just amazing. And what we learn from it is you don't have to sit and wait. There's always an opportunity somewhere. Just find this opportunity and get going, because you never know where it's gonna lead you, and you have just the proof in front of you today. So just wanted to ask you, as you've built all of this, you've become a janitor, you've real estate, you also, do other things, barbers and, luxury shop. So what is the legacy that you are working toward? What is the legacy that you want to leave, Valerie?
Okay. A legacy to me is something positive that you have left behind, that someone can talk about it all for a long time after you're gone. The legacy that I want to leave is that in my janitorial business, I have started a whole lot of entrepreneurs. I've started people in business, a lot of people in business. I want to be able to hit millions of people. And no matter, janitorial don't have to be your thing. It doesn't matter what you do or what you're good at. I want to be able to touch your heart and to tell you that you can do it. So the legacy I want to leave, I want to leave a legacy of a million people that started their own business and started their own thing and living this great life, as to where you don't have to worry about how to pay your light bill, or how you're going to pay your phone bill, or, putting your kids through college. Just worried about the simple things in life, just worried about, oh, do I have enough gas? I went to the pump long time ago and I filled up for gas. I put $5 in there. That's before my business, because I didn't have that kind of money. Now I go and I fill up. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. And I just want to leave a legacy of just telling people that, you can start your own thing. You have to be consistent about what you do. You have to wake up in the morning. Wake up is a very hard thing to do. A lot of people just don't like getting up in the morning. And I feel if you're trying to build something, first of all, you have to wake up. Feed your soul with positively, and feed your mental and your spiritual soul. Feed that positive soul, exercise, stretch your body, and when it's time to take a shower, I always say, I take a shower so I can rinse all the stress off of my body, right? Just rinse all that stress off your body. Now I'm ready for the world. Now it's time to make good decisions. It's time to make good decisions. Any kind of decision that you have to make that day, you make sure that it's a good decision that you're going to make. Then be the best version of you, no matter what you're doing. Me, I wake up every single morning. There's not too many mornings that I wake up, I'm down, I don't feel like working. I always feel like working. I'm very consistent when it comes to my work and what I do. And I can tell you, and anything that I do, as a matter of fact, I'll tell you one thing that it doesn't have to do with work. I used to bowl on a team. And when I first started bowling, my average wasn't that high. Everybody used to have this big old high average. And I thought, you know what? One day I want to get there and I want to make it. Now, when I bowl, you better bring it on, because I'm knocking all them pins down, So no matter what you do, whether it's you're bowling, you're swimming, you're running an entrepreneur, you're being an entrepreneur, running a business, you're working your own regular job. I was the best when I work a regular job. They was only paying me a little pennies an hour, but guess what? I was real good at it. And when I left, guess what? They knew it. They were like, oh my God, can you really come back? That was only my own business then. So, and also remember, treat people right. Remember the 12 laws of karma. What goes around, come around. You definitely want the energy that you give is definitely the energy that's going to come back to you. So you want to make sure that you do right. You want to do right by people. Sometimes it'll hurt you more than it would, it'll hurt you to say, okay, this person did me wrong or whatever. Just turn around, walk away, go about your business. If you got to give somebody, and one of the example that I'm saying is that I told a team member a long time ago, this happened a long time ago, to go on a property and to do this particular job. Well, they swear up and down that they did that job, which I knew they didn't do the job. And they know they didn't do the job, but they told me, I did it. So my thing is that pay them for the job. Just go ahead, still pay them and let them go ahead about their business. At least you have peace. You don't have somebody coming around telling you owe them money. Just don't use them anymore. Just do what you need to do. Pay them the money. It hurts you down. Like, God, I got to I got to give somebody some money that didn't do a job. Give it to them and let them go ahead and do what they need to do. And then also love one another. Love yourself. I love myself. And then once you start there, loving yourself, you can be, and then, you can be the best version of you. And then when you're the best version of you, then you can work on a legacy. You can help people, like me. I want to help everybody become an entrepreneur. ValerieLassereRoss.com. Get with me. I will help you become an entrepreneur in a minute, because I have helped thousands of people become an entrepreneur. Right now, I am creating a online program to teach people how to clean, because that's what I do. It's almost finished. It's going to be cleaningserts.com. It's not finished yet, but it's almost finished. And if you want to become a cleaner, we're going to go ahead. We're going to put it online. We're going to show you step by step on how to clean so you can be successful. Because being successful is a group of things that you have to do. It's a must that you wake up. It's a must that you treat people right. It's a must that you be consistent. It's a must that if you say you're going to show up, you got to show up. All those good habits will make you create the best legacy you can ever create, because you'll be ready to help other people so you can do so.
Fantastic and powerful. Thank you so much, Valerie, for the life you are building, the leaders you are mentoring, and and the legacy that you are really building as well, intentionally creating for us, for so many people, and the next generation. It's just amazing and so powerful. Thanks for your time. Thanks for sharing all of this, your journey, and all the the different lessons that you learned through as well, because it will help someone today. And for the audience, please share, because this knowledge needs to go out. This knowledge needs to don't keep it for yourself. It is for everyone. And if you want to connect with Valerie, how do people connect with you if they want to continue this conversation, or just be part of your program, the cleaning program, and learn other things about entrepreneurship?
Okay, you can connect with me on Facebook at ValerieLassereRoss.com. Also, you can connect with me. We have the cleaning program coming out. It's at cleaningserts.com. And just look for me. You'll find me everywhere. Valerie Lassere Ross, everywhere, here in Indianapolis, online, anywhere.
Fantastic. And I can see here that's Tehran. We love you, Valerie.
Oh, thank you.
So that's
Thank you,
definitely, she has an amazing energy, and you can't be, you just get ready to go, after speaking to her, ready to go, ready to try, and that's really amazing to see. So thank you so much for your time, Valerie.
Thank you so much for having me.
The inspiration. It has been a great conversation, and I'm gonna hear this show again, because there's been so much shared. To for my audience to really pick up some of the things that you've just shared, and really help them. It will help them to go to the next level of their greatness, because that's what this show is all about, bringing people and leaders that have made it, and that really have something to share and can inspire them to go to the next level. So thank you so much. I will be back for another episode of the Greatness Engineering Show tomorrow, Saturday, same time as today. And we will again talk about leadership, but in this time in the music industry. So thank you so much again for being with us. Thank you for the audience today. And remember, greatness is engineered from within, and leadership is measured by the people you elevate along the way. So thank you very much for your time today. And I hope to see you in, tomorrow, actually, because I will be back tomorrow for another episode. So thanks again, Valerie, and enjoy your weekend.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay.